Hi there everyone. I'm still very forgetful and I don't remember very well that I'm supposed to be shooting video of the projects I'm doing now if I want to upload stuff. So I've already tore into this pretty good, but this is a blueberry processing line that I'm working on today. This machine is called the destemmer. It's what yanks any of the little stems that are still on the blueberries off. I'll just give you a walkthrough a minute just to give you an idea how this, sorry for the bone jarring entrance to the doorway. So the blueberries get dumped on this incline belt, carried up, and then poured across the screen in this machine, and there's a big blower in there, and then it blows the leaves and sticks mostly out, and then they fall down this chute and into a tub that sits underneath. Go through here. Then they fall out this chute, and you'll see later, I'll show footage when I put this back together. But anyways, there's a bunch of rods that spin in opposing directions in here, yank the stems off. Then they go across these pair of belts and through this machine. This is a color sorter. That machine has a whole bunch of optic sensors and air jets and blows off the vast majority of berries that are not ripe. Then they fall into this, and this is a stone trap. There's a water flood being sent through here, and basically what happens is berries fall into here, and then the water carries them over this lip. But stones and metal, anything that's heavy, gets trapped down the bottom. It's kind of like a sluice pan for a gold prospecting operation. Then they get dumped into, this is the wash tank. And the idea with this is to try and get them all to submerge and sink. Like if they have a whole bunch of berries floating, they'll run this belt, and this belt actually is rotating this direction and down on this side, so that it's basically bobbing the berries under, trying to get them washed good and make sure they all sink before they go up this belt. And then it's not in here right now, but there's a spray rod that goes in there because this has bleach added to this water to kill bacteria. So then there's a freshwater spray here that washes the berries off. Then they come up underneath. This is a big fan blower assembly that blows most of the water off. And then obviously here's where the final line of defense is, and there'll be half a dozen or more people standing here picking out anything the machinery missed. These rollers are kind of an interesting addition. They actually are designed so that they spin with this belt, touch the berries from the bottom with their fibers, and absorb water drops and get the last of the water off. And then over here is the machine that actually fills the boxes. You'll set boxes in here. The machine carries them under this hopper, which is automated with a scale under it, and it's weighing the boxes. It fills, shuts the gates off, spits it on out the other end, and then brings another box in. And then once they come out of here, they go through another part of the line that's not together right now, but they go through, let's see here, they'll end up going through this machine, which is a box taper that tapes the boxes shut, and then through this machine, which is a metal detector to make sure that no miscellaneous hardware found its way through the system. So anyways, so today I'm rebuilding this color sorter, or not color sorter, the destemmer. So I've got, I can show you a minute. These are the drive racks that drive the rods in this thing and make them spin, and the teeth get all wore off from them. So I've got a whole new set that are going in here. The reason they have teeth on both sides is because you can flip them over and use them the other way once. Now, the machine always wears out the drive rods on one side before the other, so these bars aren't actually that terrible bad, but we're replacing with new ones, and we'll keep those around as spares, because if you get a stick or something jammed in here, it can strip a bunch of teeth off in a hurry. So. And then we have all brand new rods. I've got one used one leaning here that you can see. So they've got a little drive gear up on the end, and then they've got serrations in this aluminum rod, and as that's spinning, the stems get snagged in between two opposing rods and yanked out. But so these boxes are 2 boxes full of brand new rod assemblies. I think it was 242 of them total that goes in this thing. So anyways, I'll bring you guys back and let you see the process. I mean, all I've been doing so far is just wrenching stuff apart, but I'll bring you back online once I get a little bit more accomplished here. Alright, I just got done feeding the new drive chains in. I'm good. I decided to speed it up here. This is just a slow, tedious, long process, and there was no point in subjecting you guys to the hours and hours that went into installing these rods. I didn't keep exact track, but I'm going to say pushing 2 hours worth of just sticking rods in. 242 of these things. It takes forever, and I don't remember if I caught it, but you know, several times you're putting rods on and a whole batch falls out and you gotta redo them. It's just tedious. So anyhows, I'm saving you the misery and let you watch this in speed mode. Alright, as I'm sure you can see, we are making progress, but it is slow going. 242 of these things to put in, and we're not even quite halfway there. But I'm sure it's a good couple hours of putting rods in. As the video earlier attested to, if you get too big of a hurry and push and tug too hard, you can drop a whole section of them right back out. Very few things get my goat more than getting to do a job twice. I'm going for another bundle. I'll be right back. This bundle, once it's installed, will be exactly the halfway point. We've got 2 crates of rods, and this is the last bundle out of the first crate. But it gets a little trickier from here because pretty quick I can't look over the top anymore. I got to start hunching over and looking down on the inside. This will definitely give a person a neck ache after a while. So for a little bit of background, I originally started working on this farm when I was 19, and what got me hooked up with this operation was my uncle has his machine shop not far from here, and so he had done a lot of miscellaneous projects over the years, just little machining jobs, and he gets into a lot of stuff like I do. Anyways, the long and short of it was that they had a forklift that broke down here, and after a whole raft of different people had tried to get it going without success, my uncle gave him my phone number and said, well, try giving my nephew a call. So I came out here and had this old Yale forklift, and that Yale happened to have a engine in it that one glance at it, I knew what it was. It was it's the only one I've seen that just ordinary old propane-powered forklift, and that doggone thing had a Farmall C123 engine in it. Same engine with the Super C's, Super A's, and it was painted black, and it had an Autolite ignition system on it, and I mean, just nothing about it looked like farm tractor, and that's why nobody had caught that that's what it was. But my first tractor ever was a Farmall BM, which had the same exact engine in it, just that was the C113, so it was just 10 cubic inches less, but otherwise, same doggone machine. So anyhow, long and short of it ends up being that I took one look at it. The problem with it was there was no spark, and it had that crazy Autolite ignition system on it that was failing. It was an electronic ignition system, and the igniter box on the thing had gone bad, and it was absolutely unobtainium. So anyhow, as soon as I literally walked up, spent 2 minutes looking it over and said, well, that's a Farmall engine, ran over to my great uncle Pete's place, because he had a farm not too far from here, and swiped a distributor off from a Farmall M that he had sitting out there, grabbed it, just ordinary old points ignition distributor, slapped it on that thing, and we had them back up and cruising within a couple hours between the work and running for parts and everything. So anyways, the results of that was that I immediately was on speed dial for all the problems that happened around this farm. And then they started bugging me to run the blueberry harvester. And I resisted that strongly. I said, nope, I'm a mechanic, not a blueberry harvester operator. But they kept bugging me about it. And sometime before the following blueberry season, I wasn't super busy, and I decided I'd give it a whirl and agreed to run the harvester that year. And ended up, I believe I did 11 seasons on the harvester before I finally retired from that task. But in the meantime, I could tell you a raft of all kinds of crazy stories from keeping this processing line running, and the harvester. But anyhow, that's what the deal is. So I don't run the harvester anymore, but I still get involved with keeping this processing line running. So anyway, that's the story. At this point, we ended up quitting for the day. I just forgot to record that. We were discovering that we needed a few more parts, and I came back a couple days later and went back at it. Alright. You can all see we're at the stage here where it's getting to be real fun. Inside the machine. Put rods in one slow little rod at a time.
Daddy,
What wiggles?
I found these two. Two of these.
Oh, well, go put them back. You can't just move them all around. Go put them back where you found them. Wiggles is here helping me today, but he's rearranging their whole broom and squeegee collection in this place while he's at it. So at this point, I just carried on sticking rods in for probably about another hour, and then completely forgot to shoot any video of the machine once I turned it on and tested it. I'll try and get back by there and shoot a bit of video when the machine is operating, processing blueberries if possible. So I guess at this point is where I'm supposed to tell you all to please like my video and subscribe, because that seems to be what all the pros are doing. But honestly, I don't care that much. If you enjoyed the video, great. Catch you next time.